Welcome back to the Sad Dad Games podcast. This is another episode of Eric's Indie Corner. My name is Eric.
I'm Shan.
I'm Tucker.
So Eric's Indie Corner is a time where I pick out an indie game that I feel like talking about, and then we talk about it. That's really kind of all it is. It's just an excuse for me to talk about indie games that I love. So today we're going to be talking about a super cool indie game called Golf Story. I know this is one that Tucker has been wanting me to talk about for a while because I think this is a game that Tucker actually recommended to me, which, as far as indie games go, is not something that happens to me super often.
Yeah, I'll have to check the receipts.
Yeah.
It was forever ago, like when the Switch first came out.
Yeah, it came out in 2017.
This is one of my favorite games on the Switch. It is.
Yeah. Have you ever played any other indie games? Like, you don't talk about indie games.
Yeah.
This was it.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Castle Crashers?
Handful.
Yeah, we
Castle
play Castle
Crashers.
Crashers. We
But
play
just
Ultimate
like
Chicken
solo,
Horse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those are party games,
I'm
right?
Yeah, I'm a social indie gamer.
That's fair.
Yeah, social indie gamer. Fair enough. I am not. I am a solo indie gamer.
I guess Kena? Bridge of Spirits,
Or
that's considered...
I think it's Kena,
Kenya.
but like in the game,
Yeah.
for some reason, a couple places I remember hearing people say like Kenya or something. I'm like, there's no Enya. Where's this coming from?
I always thought it was Kena, but it might. So anyway,
Or
there's a
Kena,
game called
yeah,
either
I don't
Kena or
remember that
Kena.
game.
Bridge of Spirits is like kind of an indie
It's
game,
kind of
but
an
it's like a
indie game,
double A
yeah.
game. I think it still kind of falls under an indie game, but and that's one we'll probably talk about another day.
It's hard to
a
say.
super cool game.
It was their first game, so that's indie.
Yeah.
But
So-
they were a design studio before that, so
Yeah,
I think
as
that's fair.
far- Yeah, as far as I'm concerned, I'd say that it probably leans a little more on the indie game side of things. But so, and that's a great game, and we'll for sure talk about that one another day. But today we're talking about Golf Story, which is an absolutely delightful top-down golf simulator / RPG. Super interesting blend of game mechanics there. It was developed by Sidebar Games and came out September 28th of 2017. And then other notable games from the studio is they released a few years ago another game called Sports Story, which got a lot less positive reviews, but I haven't personally played. Might be an interesting one to check out sometime. But yeah, Golf Story is a great time. So for those of you who've watched Eric's Indie Corner before, you know that I like to talk a little bit about the story, then gameplay, and then visuals and sound. Just an easy way for me to break it up so that we can kind of get a conversation going about the fun different aspects of this game. So story in this game is fun and delightful and charming. I don't know. It's you play as a nameless guy. I can't remember. Tucker, does the guy have a name? I don't think you're ever given a name.
I don't think
right?
so.
You just play as guy.
I was never given a
name.
I was never given a name.
I beat you to it. Jinx, buy me some Coke. That's 2 in a row.
Can we all make the same joke at the same time? That's the...
We can. We're all operating on the same office wavelength at all times.
Yeah. So you play as a nameless guy who has recently split up with his wife, I think, or girlfriend. I can't really remember. I'm pretty sure it's his wife, but he decides that in the wake of this emotional devastation that he wants to take up golf again. He used to play golf with his dad when he was a kid and wants to become a pro and, you know, honor his dad's legacy. And
It's probably too late for him. If you don't do it while you're a child, it's too late. Like, it's very competitive.
He missed his window, you know. Yeah.
But,
you got to start training
suspend
very early.
disbelief. All right, I'm in.
Yeah. I mean, it is a cartoon pixel game where you are the chosen one, so you can do anything.
And you skip golf balls off of turtles' backs, you know.
Yeah,
so.
what's better than that?
Yeah. I always get it back. No, okay, it is suspend disbelief. I'm always confused if it's one or the other. Suspend belief or disbelief. Okay. It sounds like a misnomer, but all right, keep going.
Glad we got that figured out. So
Nobody cares at all.
Crucial to this episode.
we all super care, Shan. You are our shining lighthouse in a sea of misused vocabulary. You help keep us honest with much alacrity.
There it is.
Yeah, there it is.
And that's what makes you a huge
You really
amalgam. Nailed it.
Nailed it. I'm going to intentionally misuse big words in front of Shan just to piss him off.
I'm glad you have a new suit and you've learned some big words. But when Andy comes back to impress,
when he's matured,
when he's matured,
Parks and
and
Rec,
done some maturing. Ha! Yes, maturing.
Yeah. Yeah. So much like Andy, the main character has done some maturing. He's an adult now, no longer a child, but he wants to honor his father's legacy and become a golf star like he wanted to do when he was a kid, but couldn't because I don't know why. But basically the game is framed as like an RPG.
Life.
Yeah, life. He just got down and, and as you kind of go throughout the story, you find out that his wife was not a super cool lady and was not super nice to him. And, maybe she didn't want him to golf. I don't know. Don't really know how that situation
It doesn't have to be
out.
complicated. That's relatable.
Yeah, so it's so relatable. So I'm going to throw a sports reference out here.
Here we go.
That, I don't know, maybe one of our listeners will get. Lundy might get it.
Yeah, Lundy's a listener. He'll get it.
Yeah, he's a listener. So there's a golfer. His name's Rory McIlroy. Him and his wife got a divorce. He's a professional golfer. He's like consistently top 10 in the world. I think currently he's number 2 in the world. His wife wanted a divorce because he played too much golf, which I think is hilarious because you married a professional golfer.
I mean,
was he already golfing when they got married?
Yeah, he's been golfing since he was a very young child.
This isn't something that was sprung on her at midpoint in the marriage.
Yeah, exactly. So I think this guy has a very similar story. In where it's relatable is just he wants to become a professional golfer, plays too much golf, and his wife left him.
Yep. Which is exactly the point that you're at in this story. So, nameless guy, Mr. Golfer Man, goes out on a quest to get a coach, get some training, become a pro. And I like this kind of framing because everything is framed under like the guise of golf. Everyone in this world golfs. Everyone understands like the rules of golf, and it's like everything in this world has something to do with golfing and golf culture, and they're just really like ingrained in this world, which makes everything really adorable. Like everyone that you talk to is like golf this, golf that, golf all the time. Like everyone lives on a golf course basically. The overworld map is just like several large golf courses tied together. And so you kind of go from golf course to golf course and you do different missions there and different things there. And you play through those courses as you go throughout the course of the game. So that kind of brings us to gameplay. It's
real fast. So story-wise, I want to touch on dialogue of this game.
Oh, yeah.
It's all text. But so I'm a pretty avid golfer. And there
never stops talking about it.
Yeah, I never shut up about it.
It's golfing in the spring and the summer, and it's snowboarding it's skiing. Snowboarding, right? Skiing. No, does your wife snowboard?
Savannah snowboards.
Okay, that's where I get.
So she's the cooler one. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it's like you can't catch these jabronis for a game night for the hell of it. Like they're always doing something. It's obnoxious.
So anyway, there are
Shan's
so many
grievances
fantastic little tiny golf jokes in here and culture jokes and just, so many great little Easter eggs. If you're a golfer, it's fantastic. It's hilarious. And if you're not a golfer, it's still fantastic dialogue. I just wanted to point that out.
No,
they really did their homework. They're not just, it's not just, they know what they're talking about.
I don't think anybody who doesn't know golf thinks I'm gonna do a golf game.
Yeah. No, I thank you for. I actually had that in my notes to make a note about the dialogue, but I accidentally skipped over it. So dialogue is very sharp, and as a person who's not into golf, I still found the dialogue very sharp and funny and clever, and it's genuinely like really entertaining dialogue. A lot of games can be overly verbose and just talk and talk and talk and talk and talk, and you get kind of bored. And I feel like Golf Story strikes a good balance of having enough text to be funny and to engage you with the characters, but not talking so much that you're like, okay, shut up, I just want to keep playing. So they strike a good balance.
You mean every Pokemon game that's ever existed?
Yeah, every Pokemon game, all JRPGs. Yeah. Just please stop talking and let me play the game.
Stop giving me exposition. Stop teaching me how to play the game. I've been playing it since 1999.
I know how to play the game. I'm a 35-year-old man that grew up with this. I know how to throw a Pokemon.
I'm a grown-ass man. I know how to play Pokemon.
That should be a setting. I'm a 35-year-old man. I've been playing this since 1999.
I feel like that needs to be on a T-shirt. It's I'm a grown-ass man. I know how to play Pokemon.
T-shirt idea. All right.
Put a pin in that. That's a good idea. T-shirt idea. That's a good one. So yeah, dialogue's very sharp in this game. Really, really clever. Lots of good jokes for golfers and non-golfers alike. Gameplay in this one is a mix of standard but really well done golf gameplay, and then a lot of very unique micro games and mini games surrounding golf things. So for example, you kind of go from area to area. There's several different golf courses, and you go to each area, and they have lots of different like main missions and side missions that you can do, but they all kind of tie back and relate to golf somehow. It's like you go to this area and, oh, all of these birds have lost their eggs. You need to hit their eggs with a golf club into these and like back into their nests. Or it's like, oh, you go to this area and these people are all playing disc golf, and there's some slightly different mechanics, and you have to play disc golf with them, or you have to throw them like the disc around this tree to make a different thing happen. Or it's like, oh, go and find these different, like 4 different pieces of ore so that the blacksmith can make you like a legendary golf club out of the metals. And like, and so there's a lot. It's incredibly clever, the amount of variety and the different kinds of missions that they have you do with the mechanic of like hitting golf balls. I feel like you're always doing something new. You're always like, the pacing is top notch is what I'm trying to say. You're always doing slightly different variations on like hit the golf ball. Because really when it boils down to it, you're mostly just hitting golf balls, but it's framed in a way that you're doing something different. You're trying to get it into this area, or you're trying to do like, I'm not doing a good job of explaining it, but there's a lot of variety within the simple mechanic of just hitting golf balls.
Well, and each area is really interesting because there's something unique about each area. Like there's one area where it's all snow, and so you're hitting golf balls out of snow the whole time. So as you're hitting it, it's your classic golf game where you have a power bar,
like a bunker
aiming.
shot.
Yeah. And so, but there's, I hesitate to say there's a puzzle aspect of this, but you have to get creative a lot of times with some of the things you're supposed to do, which I love. Like I told Shan about this game forever ago as well, and I'd say it's more story than golf, and just golfing is one of the main mechanics.
It just sounds like lateral puzzle solving as opposed to just like lock and key and other standard puzzles.
Yeah,
so it's
you get
more
a little
like,
bit of freedom and deciding on how you want to like, because maybe you want to hit the golf ball into the bunker so that you can have more of a straight shot on the next one, or maybe you want to take the long way around to get it to the goal. But it's like, and the courses are all very well designed, that it's kind of like, especially the later courses, there's the safe path where you want to keep it on the green and it might take a little bit longer, or you can try to take some shortcuts, but it requires trickier shots, and going into an area with less than desirable like hitting conditions or stronger winds or snow or whatever. So it does a good job of evolving the challenges you go on to make you kind of test your skills, and not just to incentivize you to not just keep the ball on the green the whole time, to go outside of that comfort zone and try some more risky shots.
Eric's trying to say fairway here, people.
The fairway. Dang it, the fairway. Thank you, Tucker. There's also a green.
Rated in the comments.
There is also a green. That's the part around the hole. I used a golf term. I just used it incorrectly.
The only reason I know the word fairway is from Parks and no. The only reason I know the word fairway is Fairway Frank from Parks and Recreation.
Yeah.
Fairway
You
Frank.
guilty son of a bitch.
You're gonna die.
You're gonna fry when they flip that switch.
I think that I'm going to say fairway, and we'll go back and we'll take me saying fairway in a really flat way, and we'll just paste it over every time where I said green on accident. Fairway. Yeah. So, I think, I really enjoy the gameplay of this game, and it does something unique as well, where there's RPG elements to it as well. So rather than getting new like armor and swords and stuff like you might in a normal RPG, you can buy new clubs or earn new clubs that have different things. Like, maybe this club hits a little bit farther, but it has a higher loft, and so it's easier, like it's more affected by the wind. Or maybe this club, has more power, and so it shoots straighter, but so it has a better accuracy stat. So there's
Can you get it straighter?
You get it straighter. That's what she said. Don't put your mouth on that. Yeah.
How would you even use that organically?
Balloons.
I watched that episode of The Office yesterday. It's a good one.
Oh, great.
So, but so and with that you also level up. So your character gains experience as you do side missions, and you can boost your stats. And it does a cool thing with the stats where when you increase your power stat, it brings the other ones down just a little bit. And so you can't just like flat increase your stats as you go throughout the game. You kind of have to play this balancing game where it's like, okay, if I put too much power in, then my aim is not going to be as good as it was. And so you're always trying to be careful how you allot your experience points into your different categories so that you can, not completely screw up your accuracy or your drive length or whatever if you're just focusing on power. So I think that the RPG elements are very smartly woven into the golf gameplay. And also I like the structure of how when you're going through an area, you're doing lots of little missions that are sort of like different kinds of golf or different kinds of activities like we were talking about earlier. But then usually at the end of an area, to kind of cap off that area, you play like a proper round of golf through that whole golf course. And it felt almost kind of like in a normal RPG, like that would be the boss battle. Like it was the test of all of the skills that you were learning in that area. And it's like, all right, now apply it to an actual round of golf. And so I thought that was really kind of a fun way to cap off those areas. The rounds of golf are all very fun. And how many areas are there, Tucker? I think there's 8, 9.
So I'm trying to think.
Maybe?
There's
I played through
Grove.
most of it again to prep this,
Yeah.
but I can't remember how many there are. But I think there's like 6.
There's the
or
dinosaur place. There's the windy spot, snow spot, haunted area. 6,
haunted area is
I think.
fun. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. 6.
like
So
the haunted area.
there's a fair number of golf courses to like full courses to play through, and then each of those have a lot of like little side courses and missions and little things here and there. And like Tucker said, sometimes you're bouncing golf balls off the backs of turtles and stuff like that. So.
Oh no, there's 7. There's the beach place too. I forgot about. The
Yes, the beach places.
8 is such an odd number if you're making a golf game. Just go for 8.
Well,
right?
there's like a final one like course. That you play, right?
So it is 8.
Isn't there 8?
In total.
Well, I'm trying to think. I'm just gonna look it up.
Yeah, because and so your main rival is this guy named Max Yards, which is a great pun.
It's like Max Power on The Simpsons when he looks at like a hairdryer and, like, and he sees the word Max Power and he's like, that's my name now.
That's it. Yeah. And so I think when you face off against him in the final one, that it's like its own course. So 8 total.
Okay.
Yeah, I think 8. Yeah.
Okay. So
right.
I was like, I don't know why
I
we
could
got
just
so
guess
hung up on
that.
that detail. It's not important.
I was like,
there's
I've never played it.
several
It's
areas.
like, it's golf. It's got to be 8 or 16.
Yeah. Yeah, gameplay top notch, a lot of fun. Highly recommend. It's one of the first indie games that I played on my Switch, and had a really great time with it. All right, visuals and sound. Visuals are very, very. Oh, Tucker's looking like he wanted to say something.
Oh, so okay. So spoiler alert: at the end of the game, you find out it's Australia. It's, I don't know if you noticed that. You zoom out.
Oh, I was gonna say, I think the devs are Australian, so that makes sense.
Yeah, and so
That's
it's
a spoiler that
8
you're in
areas, and
Australia?
each area is a different province of Australia.
Ooh,
Fun
that's
little
right.
fact.
That's right.
Okay.
There we go.
Is that
Look
the
at Tucker
big
with the
reveal?
fun facts today, bringing his A game. Yeah.
Fun fact.
Is this like when you find out that Kanto and Johto and all this is just Japan?
What?
Oh.
You can't.
Is?
Yeah, okay.
Wait a minute. So I guess moving on to visuals and sound now. Visuals are very nice. Really great pixel art. I'm always a big fan of bright, colorful pixel art, and the text boxes, again, to the dialogue's credit, the text boxes all have fun, unique ways of animating. So they give a lot of personality to the different characters when they're talking. A text box will droop to the side sometimes, maybe, or the text will be really small and wobbly, and like woo, 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 kind of a thing. And so but there's a frankly, like a really high amount of different kind of like text box animations that really give personality to the things that people are saying. And so animation there is really, really great. And
when I was watching the trailer and I was listening to these sound effects, they felt inspired by Earthbound sound effects. Just because they also had sort of like sound effects while using like in user interfaces and stuff like that. It just sort of, I don't know, it just reminded me of that. I don't know if that's what it was inspired by, that by any means.
It's entirely possible. I mean, I'm not super familiar with Earthbound. I think I played the first like 3 hours of it, and then I got busy, and I've been intending to come back to it and just haven't. But so I'm not as familiar with Earthbound as Shan is. But well, that's another thing too, is the sound design in this game is chef's kiss. I think that they have a great feedback loop with just sound effects. When you hit a ball like exactly right, it gives this nice like whack kind of a sound. It just like it just feels like you're like, yeah, I nailed that.
Then you get the rainbow tracer with it.
Yep. And there's like a trail of like a rainbow following your ball, so that it just that's that you really nailed it out of the park. Yeah,
you nailed it out of the park. Just on art, every time I play this game, I'm so impressed. I don't know why. Just the golf shot,
Physics?
the 3D effect, where it comes up and back down. They just do such a good job. I mean, because different clubs are going to do different things. So there's higher lofted clubs that shoot it way up in the air. And just as it follows it, it's just really, I don't know.
It's like this beautiful, like, physics curve of like, was that a cubic Bezier or whatever, of just like quick and then slowing down on that arc, like nails that physics motion. Plus, like, they have to emulate it, like getting closer to the camera and stuff. It's like, it just feels phenomenal.
Nail it out of the park.
Well, and I'm sure that's a tough visual effect to get right in a 2D space. Because it's not just a shrinking and growing sprite either. Like, it's not just the same amount of pixels getting larger and smaller. It's like it's redrawing of sprites. And so I wonder exactly how they did that. But yeah, it looks really nice. It feels really nice. The golf balls all have a really nice arc to them. So big fan of all of the feedback. I feel like when you're golfing and you get a shot just right, it feels really good. And it feels even better if you are able to sink it in a hole-in-one. They have different sound effects that play. Like, if you get a hole-in-one, it's one sound effect. If you get an eagle, there's like an eagle screeching. If you get a birdie, there's like a little bird chirp. Yeah. And it's just, it gives you this like, the sound design and the visual design do a great job of pumping you up when you're having a good game. And it also is like, I understand now why when people play real golf, why they're like breaking clubs and screaming and cussing when they miss a shot, because there will be time, like there was times where it's just like, it's like goes in the rough and I'm like, I didn't know, no, stupid wind. If I had clubs in real life, I'd be breaking them over my knees. And like, I understand the frustration of actual golf now that I've played Golf Story, because sometimes you feel like you nailed a shot and the wind's like, screw you, you did not nail that shot. So yeah, visual design and sound is all really great. The music is also really nice, composed by Joel Strudler. Not Strudler. Joel Strudler. And the music is very.
Have you ever said a composer's name correctly?
I'm not going to. I'm going to do it wrong on purpose forever. All composers,
I mean,
I'm
coming
with
for John
you.
Williams, and we're set.
And why are all composers
John Williams?
Will.i.ams?
It's composed
Of the
by
Black Eyed
Gene
Peas.
Will.i.am. It's become a joke now. I'm just composers. No one is safe. I'm going to mispronounce all your names on purpose or otherwise. But music is very, very nice. It does a good job of being mellow and kind of when you're contemplating and just kind of feeling the the zen nature of playing a nice round of golf. So really enjoy that. Fun fact for this game is it was originally planned as a Wii U launch. And
that explains why it released so quickly.
Yeah.
So
it
an
released
indie game.
super fast on the Switch. Yeah, it was released just a few months after the Switch came out, actually. And so it had the benefit of being one of the early indie games on Switch when people were like, when Switch was still kind of just like a Zelda machine. And you're like, I love my Switch. I want to play something else on it. I know at least I bought a couple games early Switch days. That the only reason I bought them is because I wanted more games to play on my Switch, because I loved playing my Switch so much that I wanted more games on it. And Golf Story was one of those games, and I had a great time with it. So super big fan.
Yeah. I would like to see like the release curve of games of like, because right now we clearly understand the Switch to be the greatest indie machine of all time, but like this was the start of it, and we didn't know it was
Microsoft
going to be
Arcade. It's better than the Microsoft Arcade.
Yes.
Yes, it is.
But there were some good games on there. There were also some stinkers, but there were some good ones. But yeah, it's nothing can really hold a candle to the Switch, except for maybe the Steam Deck.
Steam would do it. But
and
like
Steam is
as
really
far as like
only
ease of
because it
access
has
to it's ease of access to the right audience as well. Like Steam isn't accessible to the child audience that would play these cheap games generally.
Yeah. So yeah, I think I am a big fan of indies on Nintendo Switch. I think that Switch is the perfect platform for indies. It's where I play every indie unless it's not available on Switch. That's where I'm going to play it, is on my Switch. And also another fun fact is it won Best Debut Indie Game at the Game Awards in 2017. So it's not just loved by us; it's loved by everyone ever in the year 2017. That's a fact. They got an award because literally every person loves it. Yeah. Any last thoughts about Golf Story? Before
there's a reporter named Tucker in it, which is fantastic.
Oh, Tucker! I hardly know her.
I just want to say
after 10 years.
All the little things you can interact with. There's a lot of just really fun things. I want to know, Eric, what's your favorite, I guess, side mission or part of your main mission that's not golf?
I really like the one where you are hitting golf balls at the skeleton zombie things, because I feel like that was the first part in the game where I truly understood how ridiculous the game was. It seemed like a semi-grounded game.
Are you talking about the one where you're like hitting eyeballs into the zombies to animate them? Yeah, and you're like 2 feet away from them.
There's like, 'cause up until that point, it's like everything has been sort of like a little weird and silly, but then all of a sudden it's just like, all right, now do this absolutely weird, and it's like, oh, it's this kind of game. It's full on weird, like, and so I like that one. That one's lots of fun.
I really like the murder mystery part of it.
Oh yeah,
that's one of my. It's just a fun little break. I think it's towards the end of the game, so it just kind of like breaks up some of the monotony. Like Eric mentioned, the pacing is fantastic. Like just when you're starting to get a little bit bored, it switches things up in the perfect way.
Yeah, it gets a little bit of like Paper Mario vibes, where it's like you never know exactly what weird thing they're going to throw at you next. I feel like that, especially with like Paper Mario 64 and Thousand Year Door, it's very much like a what is going to happen next, like, and it's just you can't really predict what's happening. Golf Story is a lot like that. It's always something weird around the next corner. So big fan of Golf Story. Lots of super fun stuff, and it's just a gosh darn good time. And it's an indie game that Tucker has played without me having to badger him about it, so you know it must be good.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. This is now Tucker's indie corner.
It's now Tucker. He's taking over.
It's just one game.
Just this one episode. Yeah. That's great. That means I have to make a separate animation for Tucker's Indie Corner for one episode.
Welcome to Tucker's Indie Corner.
I'm not going to do that. Yeah. All right. So yeah, Golf Story, good game. Takes about 15 to 20 hours to complete, depending on how much of the side content you want to engage with. But it's all pretty great, so no reason not to. And available platforms is, as far as I know, it's only on the Switch. I couldn't, as I was doing my research, I didn't find it anywhere else. If I'm wrong, let me know, because I'm often wrong in these things. But yeah, and it's for the nice low price of $14.99. Not a bad deal for 15, 20 hours of good golf.
Also, goes on sale very frequently. I think I bought it for $2.
Yeah, it's been out long enough that it's one of those ones that you can find for cheap pretty often. All right, well, I think that's going to do it for us. That's it for Golf Story. This is one that we've been like, Tucker's been low-key excited about for like a couple months, and I finally got around to writing a script for it. So yeah, I've had a great time talking about Golf Story. Don't forget, everybody, to like, comment, and subscribe. We'd love to hear your thoughts and chat with you in the comments. You can find our podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and on YouTube. Also, make sure to check us out on Instagram. Follow us there. We post some shorts there, lots of good stuff there. And I do my daily Dadish scores every single day. So check those out and try to beat my scores. Still, every day. I'm on like a 112-day streak. Actually, it'll be more by the time this airs. But I'm on a day 100 and something or other. So
are you ever going to
check
give
this
it
out?
Up?
It would make me very happy.
Have you gotten any
no one has
from it? Not a single.
No,
we should probably do something else.
I'm going to keep doing it. We can also do something else, but I'm too far into it now.
We'll give you a verbal shout out if you beat Eric's Dadish score.
You've got another 250 days of me doing this, and that's just what it is. Like,
we're gonna have to purge our Instagram of these Dadish posts once
I do.
Figure out what to do with it.
No, they're stories, so they're only there for 24 hours, and then they
ephemeral. all right,
Oh,
got
thank
it.
goodness.
Yeah, I was told specifically by Emily to please only make them stories. So that we would,
Okay, so same
we wouldn't have
thought
So
process.
300.
it's a vanity project, so Eric feels good about himself.
It's just listen, I started playing Dadish and I have to do it every single day or my brain itches. And so I figured, why not upload the videos to Instagram? Watch them. It would personally make me very happy. All right, everybody. I think that's it for today. We will catch you next time. Thanks for listening.
Bye.
Bye.
Outro. Bleepity doof, bleepity bloopity blow.